Hello, and welcome to the level guide for R5D1. Let's get started by talking about loadouts. This level does have a large amount of chargers in it. A lot of the scans are going to have more than half of the waves be full of chargers, so things like the shotgun and the hell rifle are going to be able to deal with them very quickly. Your weapon loadout can be any combination of shotguns, combat shotguns, hell rifles, or hell guns, although I do recommend you take at least one shotgun and one hell rifle. For the extreme objective, you are going to have to kill a P-Mother or a Queen Birther or a Big Mom or whatever you want to call it. You have to kill one, so I recommend you take 2 shotguns at the bare minimum for extreme, and my preferred loadout for extreme is 2 shotguns and 2 hell rifles. For tools, if you're doing the main objective, you want to bring a bio tracker and 2 sniper sentries, and your last tool can either be a 3rd sentry gun or a C-foam launcher. If you're doing the extreme objective, your last tool needs to be a C-foam launcher unless you're super confident in killing charger scouts as a team. The reason for the C-foam launcher is not to reinforce doors, it's because there are multiple charger scouts in this level, and if you're doing the extreme objective, there is a possibility of having 4 of them spawn in the same room. You need to be extremely careful to not set off scouts in this level, as any scout that you set off is going to spawn chargers as a majority of the wave, and setting off multiple scouts at once has the potential to be run ending. Starting off in Zone 68, you will see that your main objective is to find your way to Zone 72 and shut down the reactor. This is a reactor shutdown, which is different than a reactor startup. During a reactor shutdown, once you begin the reactor sequence, it immediately turns off all of the lights and becomes a shadow alarm. Inside of Zone 68 itself, you'll be able to find a few handfuls of enemies. There are no resources, but there are some consumable boxes. There is also an alarm door to Zone 69 in the far north side of the room. This is a Class 5 alarm with your floor plan looking like this. The enemies will be coming from your spawn in order to reach you, and it also has a very high chance at spawning hybrids during this alarm, so placing one of your sniper sentries to shoot them in the back is highly preferred. Whenever your team is ready, go ahead and pull the alarm door, complete the scans, and head on into Zone 69. Inside of Zone 69, you will always be able to find 1 charger scout as well as 2 big enemies. These big enemies can either be big shooters or big strikers. And for resources, you'll be able to find 2 uses of medkits, 2 uses of ammo kits, and 1 use of a tool refill kit. Have the player with the C-foam launcher go ahead and C-foam the charger scout. It only takes 3 blobs to C-foam them, unless you're lagging, then it may take more. Once he's frozen, just have a couple players go up and smack him with the hammer. You have about 7 or 8 seconds to do this, so you don't need to be incredibly fast, but you should still move with haste. Inside of this zone, you will see that there are 3 security doors. The one on the north side is going to be locked behind a generator, and you'll be able to find the cell inside of the other 2 security zones, being either Zone 74 or 75. There is only 1 cell that will spawn, so go on the terminal and list the zones to find out where the cell is. Once you figure out where the cell is, go over to that security door, start the team scan, complete it, and head on into that zone. Inside of Zones 74 and 75, you'll be able to find a bunch of big enemies, being either big strikers or big shooters. Do your best to stealth clear these rooms because ammo is very tight on this map, and because of the amount of big enemies, you're going to be spending a lot of ammo to clear them out if you happen to wake them up. Also in this zone, you'll be able to find your cell, as well as for resources, 2 uses of medkits, 4 uses of ammo kits, and 2 uses of tool refill kits. Once you've gotten all your resources and the cell, head back into Zone 69 and chuck the cell into the generator. Your alarm door to Zone 70 is going to look like this. The enemies will be able to spawn here, as well as behind any of these 4 rooms, depending on which zone you opened. One thing to note about this alarm is that there is going to be a ton of chargers in it, so be sure to have your hell rifles and shotguns on the ready. Whenever your team is ready, go ahead and pull the alarm door, complete the scans, and head on into Zone 70. Inside of Zone 70, you'll be able to find 1 charger scout as well as 1 normal scout, and you'll also be able to find a 1-use ammo kit. Much like the last zone, you'll be able to find 3 security doors in this room. The one on the north side goes to Zone 71 and is locked by a keycard. You'll be able to find this keycard either in Zone 78 or in 81. Security doors on the west side of the room lead to Zones 76, 77, and 78, and the ones on the east lead to Zones 79, 80, and 81. Once you've cleared out all the enemies, go ahead and query where the key is, and then get ready to head on into either Zones 76 or 79. Inside of zones 76 and 79, you'll be able to find 2 scouts along with a bunch of sleeping babies, which is actually new to this level. For resources, you'll be able to find 2 uses of medkits and 2 uses of ammo kits. Inside of these 2 zones, you'll be able to find 2 different security doors in each zone. If you're on zone 76, you'll be able to find your security doors to zones 77 and 78. 78 is locked by a keycard, and you will need to go into 77 in order to get this keycard. If you're in zone 79, you'll find your security doors to zones 80 and 81, and much like the other group of zones, the security door to zone 81 is locked by a keycard, which you will need to go into zone 80 in order to find. Once you've gotten all your resources and cleared out the enemies, go on into either zone 77 or zone 80. Inside of zone 77 and zone 80, you'll be able to find a bunch of big enemies, being either big strikers or big shooters. You'll also be able to find more sleeping babies, as well as a mother. You'll also be able to find your key, and for resources, you'll be able to find 3 uses of medkits, 6 uses of ammo kits, and 2 uses of to-refill kits. You really only need to kill the enemies that are in the first room of these 2 zones, so just grab your key and your resources and get out. Once you've gotten everything, go ahead and throw the key into either door 78 or into door 81, depending on what zone you're in. Both alarms are going to be class 5 alarms, and we're going to start with 78, which will look like this. The enemies will be able to spawn behind any of these points here, and over on zone 81, the enemies will be able to spawn behind any of these points here. Whenever you're ready, pull the door and complete the alarm. There was a change when the rundown extension came out, so although in this footage you will see chargers and cluster scans, this is no longer the case. When the extension came out, they nerfed this alarm so it is now only team scans, and there are no more chargers that will spawn in. Regardless, finish the scans and head on into zone 78 or 81. Inside of zones 78 and 81, you'll be able to find a tank and a lot of big chargers and normal chargers. This zone will also contain the key that you need for the warden door back in zone 70, and for resources, you'll be looking at 2 uses of medkits, 4 uses of ammo kits, and 1 use of a tool refill kit. You really don't want to set this zone off because of how high threat it is, so just get your resources and your key and get out. So, once you grab your key, you can go ahead and throw it into the door to zone 71. This is going to be a class 3 S1 BC alarm. So you may be asking, what the hell does that mean? So, it's S1, so every scan is going to be an S1 scan, and BC stands for big cluster, meaning that once you do the initial scan, it's going to split off into 3 different S1 scans, and then once you finish those, you have to do another 3. So this is what your floor plan is going to look like. The enemies will be able to spawn here and here, depending on which zone you have opened. So, whenever you're ready, go ahead and pull the door to start the scan. You're going to want to have fog repellers for this because a lot of the scans are going to be in the bottom area and there is going to be a bunch of fog. And whoever has BioTracker needs to be constantly pinging stuff because they're going to come from multiple different directions and there are a lot of chargers in this alarm. So, once you finish the scan, head on into zone 71. Inside of zone 71, there will be no enemies and there will be a security door in the back that leads to zone 72. For resources, you'll be able to find 3 uses of medkits, 3 uses of ammo kits, and 3 uses of to-refill kits. Behind this door, there is 4 to 5 big chargers and 1 tank, and this is a scream door, so once you open it, all of the enemies are going to be aggroed and come running out towards you. Clear out all the enemies and kill the tank, and then head on into zone 72. Zone 72 is going to have your bulkhead key and door controller for the extreme objective. It's also going to have 3 uses of medkits, 4 uses of ammo kits, and 1 use of a to-refill kit. Lastly, it is going to be where your Reactor Shutdown is located. If you're only doing the main objective, go ahead and skip to this timestamp on screen right now to see that. Everybody else, do the scan for extreme and open the door. Inside of zone 504, you'll see that your extreme objective is to locate the terminal in zone 507 and turn off the air filtration. Inside of zone 504 itself, there is only going to be shadow enemies, being normal shadows, shadow giants, and 2 shadow scouts. This is also a room with cocoons in it, so the entire room is going to respawn, and unlike other levels, the scouts also respawn. Because everything in the room respawns, it's best to just ignore it and sneak your way past it to the security door in the back, but if you do want to get resources, you'll be able to find 5 uses of medkits, 4 uses of ammo kits, and 2 uses of to-refill kits. Once everyone's in the back of the zone, do the team scan to enter into zone 505. Inside of zone 505, you will see that the entire zone is covered in fog and it is entirely pitch black. Every enemy is also going to be a shadow, with a large majority of them being shadow giants, and every single room in the zone has cocoons, so once you leave, all of it is going to respawn. The room off to the left once you immediately enter the zone is going to have a terminal in it. You want to hop on the terminal and ping all of your resources. You're going to be able to find 4 uses of medkits, 6 uses of ammo kits, and 2 uses of 2 refill kits, and you're also going to be able to find a key card which you're going to need for the security door in the far back of the zone. Be extremely careful when making your way through this zone. You really want to stealth all of it. There's not really a reason to kill anything unless you absolutely have to. Because of the fog, it makes it very, very difficult to see the shadows until they're right on top of you, so the only reasonable way to kill them is through biotracker, and if your biotracker goes down when you wake up a room, it's almost a guaranteed team wipe. Once you got in your resources and your keycard, go ahead and pull the security door. It is going to be a class 3 stealth scan, so once you finish the scan, open up the door and head on into zone 506. Inside of zone 506, you'll be able to find 1 charger scout as well as 2 to 4 hybrids. For resources, you'll be able to find 3 uses of medkits, 6 uses of ammo kits, and 2 uses of 2 refill kits. This zone also has a high chance of containing a seafoam trip mine and multiple seafoam grenades, so you want to be able to save all of those for the big mother. The seafoam trip mine can instantly seafoam her, and 3 seafoam grenades is what's needed to seafoam her. So if you're able to carry 1 or 2 seafoam grenades from the earlier parts of the level into the zone, it'll be able to be a huge help when you need to freeze her later. Once you've cleared out the zone and gotten your seafoam situation figured out, you're going to want to start your alarm door to zone 508. The floor plan is going to look like this. It is going to be a class 6 S1 alarm. The enemies will be able to spawn here, and you want to leave this door open here and close all of the other ones so they funnel through this specific door. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and pull the alarm door, finish the scans, and get ready to head on into zone 508. Inside of zone 508, there's going to be 1 tank, and all of the enemies are either going to be chargers or big chargers. Additionally, the entire zone is pitch black, and there's also going to be 4 charger scouts in this zone. There's also going to be a cell that you need to find so you can open up the door to zone 507. For resources, you'll be able to find 1 use of medkits, 2 uses of ammo kits, and 2 uses of 2 refill kits. You need to be extremely careful to not set off any of the scouts, because even setting off 1 of them is difficult enough to deal with. Setting off 2 or more is almost guaranteed to end your run right then and there. Once you've gotten the cell, go ahead and throw it into the generator and get ready to start your alarm door to zone 507. The alarm is going to be an S1 surge alarm, and the floor plan is going to look like this. The enemies will be able to spawn here, here, and here, and you're also going to want to close this door and leave this one open. This will funnel all the enemies through this top section, and almost every single enemy is going to follow this path and down this staircase to reach the players in the scan. Because the enemies almost always take the exact same path to reach the players, the sentry should be placed on this tripod of barrels right here. This will make sure the sentries always shoot all of the enemies as they come to you. One final thing to do before you start the scan is you need to clear out the first room of the shadow zone next to you, so that none of the shadows get pulled in with the alarm scan. But once you do that, whenever you're ready, go ahead and pull the alarm door and start the scan. Once you finish the scan, kill off the remaining enemies, but don't open the door yet because there's a lot of shit that's going to come out of it. Behind that door is a big mother and a bunch of sleeping babies, and it is a scream door, so as soon as you open it, all of it is going to be aggroed and running towards you. Everybody has a different strategy for dealing with this part of the level, but this is the one that I feel like works the best and has the highest possible success rate. Make sure everybody is carrying a seafoam grenade or a seafoam trip mine, and have everybody except for 1 player hide in the room with the class 6 S1 alarm. Leave one of the top doors and the bottom door open, and have the player outside of the room pull the mom door. Once they pull this door, this player is going to run in through the bottom door and close it behind them, then go upstairs with the rest of the team to shoot the babies as they enter into the room. Once you kill the last baby, shut the door, and everybody runs down to the ground floor, and mother will be beating on the bottom door. Have everybody pull out their seafoam grenades and throw them at the mother when she breaks down the door initially. lay into her with your guns until she's about to be finished Seafoam, and then have the player with the Seafoam trip mine place it directly under her to instantly Seafoam her again. At this point she should be low on health and you should just be able to very quickly finish her off. In this footage we didn't have a Seafoam trip mine, and it is still entirely possible to do it without one. It just makes it a lot easier because you can kill her before she even has the chance to spawn any babies. If you don't have one, you're going to have to deal with one baby wave, but you should still be able to kill her relatively quickly. Once you've dealt with that, head on into Zone 507. Inside of Zone 507, you'll find the terminal that you need to put the backdoor command into. You'll also be able to find 4 uses of medkits, 2 uses of ammo kits, and 6 uses of disinfect packs. This zone also, like the previous one, has a high chance at spawning Seafoam grenades and Seafoam trip mines. Once you put in the terminal command, it is going to put a team scan in front of the terminal, and when you finish this team scan, it is going to cause all of the fog in the level to turn infectious, and it is also going to make the entirety of the main objective fill with fog. There is also the lockdown door to Zone 509, which comes off of lockdown once you finish the extreme objective. So once you finish this team scan, have everybody hightail it over to Zone 509 and finish the team scan in front of that door. Have only the biotracker go into this zone, and have everybody else go onto the 3rd floor of Zone 506 so they don't gain infection. Zone 509 is going to have a fog turbine in it, and all of the enemies are going to be shadows. Thankfully, the terminal is in the first room of this zone, so you just need to go to the terminal and ping where the fog turbine is, and once you grab it, get out. If you care about resources, you'll be able to find 2 uses of medkits and 6 uses of disinfect packs. There is also going to be spitters in this zone, so try not to get downed by them when you're trying to grab the fog turbine. Once you've gotten the fog turbine and left the zone, make your way back towards your team and begin to disinfect yourself and anybody else who has infection. Once you've done that, make your way back all the way through the zone with the shadow giants and all the way back into the room with the 2 shadow scouts. Unfortunately, you do actually have to clear the room out this time. When you do the reactor shutdown, this is only 1 room away, so the enemies are going to scream and pull everything that wasn't cleared. If you have any Seafoam grenades, trip mines, or anything left in the Seafoam launcher, now is the time to use it. You want to Seafoam the Shadow Scouts and the Shadow Giants just to make them super easy to kill so you don't have to have any issues. Once you've cleared out the zone, pick up any resources that you've left behind and get ready to start your reactor shutdown. Before you start your reactor shutdown, make sure that everybody has fog repellers on them, and if you need to, go back and grab some because you're going to need them. Every single enemy during this is going to be a shadow, and it is a class 5 mixed alarm, so the last scan is going to be an S1 scan. Burn all of your meds, all of your ammo, use everything that you have, because if anybody goes down, there is a very, very slim chance that they're going to get revived. The enemies will only be able to become from in front of you or behind you if you have done the extreme objective. Once everybody's ready, put in the code and start the reactor sequence. One very important thing to note is that once you finish the last scan, this alarm is not going to turn off. Much like B3, it persists until you finish extraction. So everybody just needs to hightail it back to the starting zone and do the extraction scan. I hope you've memorized this level's layout because you're not going to have time to wait for anything. You just have to run all the way back to extraction as fast as you can. Ignore all of the enemies on the way and do your best to dodge them. If biotracker goes down, it's going to be a very, very big problem, so try to make sure that they have a pocket med kit that they can burn on themselves as they're running. But outside of that, just go. This extraction scan takes about 1.5 minutes to complete, and whoever's on biotracker needs to be constantly pinging enemies and letting the team know where the enemies are if they cannot ping them. But once you've done that, you will have finally beaten R5D1. Due to the nature of RNG, enemy numbers and resource numbers may be off by ±1, but for the most part they should be what I show here. Outside of that, I've got nothing else. Leave a comment if you think I missed something. You guys have fun.